Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We'll continue doing these integrals involving trigonometric integrals, section 8.3. Now we'll talk about guidelines for evaluating integrals involving what? Powers of secant and tangent. By the way, the same guidelines can work with cotangent and cosecant. Okay. When the power of secant is even, and positive, I save a secant squared. So you save a secant squared. And then this remaining secant squared, I change it into tan. So I have function of tan times secant squared. So I let u equal tan, and du will be secant squared dx. Then the rest is just calculation. Because it will be like a polynomial in u. Or, yeah, with the powers. Okay, if the power of tangent is odd, that was the power of secant is even. Now the power of tangent is odd and positive. I try to save a secant tangent. So one of these odd power of tangent, I take it out. And the secant also, I take one secant out. And this tan square, I change it to secant. So I have function of secant. So I have u equal secant x, du will be secant x tan x. Then I will have function in terms of x as a power, then I can do the integration. If no secant factors and the power of tangent is even, what you will do, you take one tan square out, that will be secant square minus 1. So this one, you can do easy, where this is u, tan is u, this is du. And they have integral of tan n minus 1 x dx. I did it for tan to the power n. Now I decrease the degree by 2. I'll do the same idea again. That will be even also. Take secant square out, or take tan square out and change it into secant square. Then I reduce the power to smaller power until I reach tan square, which is I can easily make it secant square minus 1. If the integral in this form where m is odd, no tangent, only secant, and the power is odd, then I use integration by parts. And always when the first 4 guidelines do not apply, try to convert it to sines and cosines. Let me check this one. So my idea here, the tan is odd. So the idea is to have what? Tan is odd, I need to have secant tan. Okay. For tan, let me write this one first. That will be tan cube secant x to the power minus half dx. So take this is tan square tan x. So now I get the term tan. I need the term secant. Yeah, this one I can do this trick. Secant x to the power minus half. I need secant. It times secant x to the power minus 3/2. I know 1 minus 3/2 is minus half. So this is my term, which will be du. So I rewrite this. I can change tan square. It will be what? Secant square minus 1. This is secant x to the power minus 3/2. And that term, which is ready for du. This will be my du. So I let u to be secant x, then du will be secant tan dx. So my integral will be what? U square minus 1 u to the power minus 3/2 du. And that is what? U to the power half minus u to the power minus 3/2 du. And that will be, you add 1, 3/2, that 2/3 u to the power 3/2 minus, you add 1, it will be minus half. So it will be minus 2 u to the power minus half plus c. Change the u, which is secant x to the power 3/2 plus 2 secant x to the power minus half plus c. Yes, which is correct. 0 to the power pi over 4 of tan to the power 4. What they say, if I have tan is even, then I try to remove tan square, change it to secant, and do it again. So this is what I will do. I change this into tan square times tan square dx from 0 to pi over 4. That will be tan square times secant square minus 1 dx to 0 to pi over 4. And this I can split it in two parts. 0 to pi over 4 tan square x secant square x, which is now u du. This is u, this is du. U the tan, huh? Without the square. Minus integral of tan square, which is ready now. Tan square I can write as secant square, then I can do the calculation. Okay, in this case, I will let u equal tan x. Du will be secant square dx. So it will be u squared, that will be tan cubed. Tan cubed from 0 to pi over 4. Tan cubed over 3. Yeah. Clear? Let me do it in steps. Okay. Yeah. I let u equal tan. That will be integral of what? Tan 0 is 0. Tan pi over 4 is 1. U square du. Okay. Minus this one. How to do it? I can write it secant square x minus 1 dx. So that will be u cubed over 3 from 0 to 1. Okay, unless I get rid of tan. And this one will be what? Minus tan x secant square. What's the integral of secant square is tan x minus x between 0 to pi over 4. So that give me what? 1 over 3 minus 0, that is minus 1 over 3, minus tan pi over 4, that is 1 minus pi over 4 minus 0. So it will be 1 over 3 minus 1 plus pi over 4, which is this one. Okay. Secant tan square. Okay. If I look secant odd, I don't have anything like that. Tangent is odd. So we need to deal with it in a different way. One way, he said, I change everything into sine and cosine. And I think it will work in this case. I have 1 over cosine x over sine square over cosine square dx. And that is what? 1 over cosine times cosine square over sine square dx. Okay, and that is what? So this is cancelled with the square. So I have integral of cosine x dx over sine square. So I let u to be sine, du will be cosine. It's ready. So I have what? Du over u square. In other words, u is minus 2 du. And that will be minus u is minus 1 plus c. So it's minus 1 over sine x plus c, which is minus cosecant x plus c. Easy one. Tan to the power 4, secant to the power 4. What we have, if secant is even, tangent is odd here. So secant is even. Alas, I will work out that secant is even. This is what I will work out. What we will do, we'll try to save secant square. So that will be tan to the power 6. This one I change into secant square dx. I change one of these secant. This will be du. And this I'll change it into tan square. That will be tan to the power 6. Secant square is what? 1 plus tan square. And this will be the same, secant square dx. Now I let u to be tan square. I let u to be tan. x du will be secant square x dx. So that will be what? U to the power 6, 1 plus u square du. That u to the power 6, which is u to the power 7 over 7, u to the power 8, which is u to the power 9 over 9 plus c. That will be 1 over 7 tan to the power 7x plus 1 over 9 tan to the power 9x plus c. Tan to the power 5, secant to the power 7. If I have tan is odd, I don't have secant odd. So tan is odd, I will work out. If tan is odd, what I will do, I will save one tan. That will be tan to the power 4x, secant to the power 6x. I have tan or secant x, and I will make this is tan to the power 5 times tan x. So I save secant and tan, and then I need to change this into secant, but this is 10 to the power 4. So it is, I can do it, you know what, let me do these things in details. Yeah, don't rush it. That will be tan x, and secant I will do the same. I need secant, I need a secant times tan factor outside. Oh yeah, as du. So this one, tan to the power 4 is what? Secant square x all square, secant to the power 6x. This is will be tan x secant x dx, which is my du. So I let u, no, this is not secant square. Secant squared minus 1. It will be secant squared minus 1. Yeah, 1 plus tan squared equals secant squared. So tan squared. Let me make it in the steps. That will be tan square square. Okay. Still, I want to change tan square into secant square. That will be secant square minus 1. Let me do it in steps. Who cares? 6th. Secant to the power 6x tan x secant x dx. So now I let u to be secant x. That will be u du tan secant dx. Oops. So that give me what? U square minus 1 all square u to the power 6 du. And what is u square minus 1 all square? That's u to the power 4 minus 2u square plus u times u to the power 6 du. That is u to the power 10. What's the integral? Will be u to over 11 over 11 minus 2u to the power, it's u to the power 8, so I add 1 and divide by that, u to the power 9 over 9, u to the power 7, that will be u to the power minus 1, not u. That u to the power 6, that will be u to the power 7 over 7 plus c. I retain u, that will be secant to the power 11 over 11, secant to the power 9 over 9, plus secant to the power 7 over 7 plus c, which is this one. Tan to the power 5 over secant. Yeah, almost the same idea as this one. Let me do it again, no problem. I have tan to the power 5. So it's an odd power of tangent. We have odd power of tangent. I need to save secant tan. Okay. So tan, I get it from there. So it will be tan to the power 4 secant x, tan x. Let me go back. Tan to the power 5 secant x to the power minus half dx. Now I need to save secant tan, so I will save tan from here. From there, I need to save secant, so it will be secant x to the power something times secant x. I make it minus 3 over 2 to have it minus half. I know minus 3 over 2 times 1 is minus half dx. So I now have the term secant tan. I put it alone, and this one I need to change it to secant. So that will be secant square, or let me do it in steps, tan square all square times secant x to the power minus 3 over 2 tan x secant x dx. Now this is my du, but tan square will be what? Like what we did before, secant square minus 1 square times secant x to the power minus 3 over 2 tan x secant x dx. Now if I let u to be secant x, what will be du? It will be secant tan. So this integral will be what? Integral of u square minus 1 square u to the power minus 3 over 2 du. And that u to the power minus 2 u square plus 1 u to the power minus 3 over 2. Yeah, du. And that will be what? Yeah, let me do the powers. U to the power 4, which is 8 over 2, that u to the power 5 over 2. Minus 2, this is 4 over 2, minus u to the power half, plus u to the power minus 3 over 2, du. I add 1, this is 7 over 2, so it will be 2 over 7, u to the power 7 over 2, minus 2, 2 over 3, u to the power 3 over 2. I add 1, that will be minus half, so it will be minus 2, u to the power minus half, plus c. So I change now u to secant, that 2 over 7, secant 7 over 2x, minus 4 over 3, secant 3 over 2x, minus 2, secant minus half x. Don't forget plus c. Watch it this one. Secant cubed. Yeah, it's not an easy one. This is, we need integration by parts to do it. Okay, how to do that? This, I think we did it again in 8.2. Let us do it again. That will be secant x, secant square x dx, where this is will be dv. So I have u is secant x, and dv is secant square x dx. So what is v? It's tan x, which is easy to integrate, and du is secant tan. Okay, dx. So continue. That will be what? Secant x tan x minus integral of what? Of secant x tan square x dx. Okay, and that is what? Secant x tan x minus secant x. What is tan square? Tan square is secant square minus 1 dx. That give me, let me call this I. I need this. So that give me secant x tan x minus integral of secant cube x. I'm back to this, plus integral of secant x dx. So this is my I. Take it to the other side. This is I. So I have 2I equals secant x tan x plus integral of secant, which is ln secant x tan x, secant x plus tan x, plus c. So I will be half secant x tan x plus ln secant x plus tan x, and then the absolute value, plus c. C over 2 is c. Now tan square x secant x. How to do that? Yeah. This is, I can take it secant square x plus 1 times secant x dx. Okay. Secant square minus 1. 1 plus tan square is secant square, so it's secant square minus 1. I did minus 1 here. Yeah, that will be what? Integral of secant cube x dx minus integral of secant x dx. This is the know. I did it in the previous example, in this example. So this one is what? Half secant x tan x is plus half ln secant x plus tan x minus integral of secant, which is ln secant x plus tan x plus c. This is the integral of secant. This is I did it in the previous example. So that will be half secant x tan x is half minus 1, so it's minus half ln secant x plus tan x plus c, which is this one. Tan cubed. Did you do tan cubed before? Yeah, if tan is odd, is easy, huh? If tan is odd or secant is even, is easy. So yeah, tan cubed will be easy. That will be tan square x times tan x dx. I need to save secant tan. No, it says here. Let me go back. His guideline, if that tangent is even, but not tangent is odd. Okay. Let me do this. That's the only choice I have. So that give me, yeah, that give me secant square minus 1 times tan x dx. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, that will be easy now. Secant square x, or I can write it, yeah, let me write it the way it's written here. Secant square x times tan x. This is dx minus integral of tan x dx. So in this one, this is u, this is du. If I let, in this one, if I let u equal tan, du will be secant square x dx. So that will be what? U du. And this one is integral of x over cosine x dx. That will be u square over 2. So it will be half tan square. That is half tan square. Next. This one, if u is cosine, I need minus sign, which is already there, minus sign. Dx, so I have plus ln cosine x plus c. That will be the answer. Or I can write it minus ln secant. I can write it half tan square x. Cosine is 1 over secant, so I take the power outside. That will be minus ln secant x plus c. Okay, the last thing in this section is about these products, sine m, sine n, sine a number times x, times sine a number times x, and sine, cosine, 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 which I'm using the sum and the difference of two angles. So if you notice, if I have cosine m minus n x, the difference of two angles, m minus n, that will be cosine m cosine n minus sine n m sine n. And if you have cosine the sum, that will be cosine m cosine n. This is plus, the minus I have plus, and the plus I have a minus. If you remember the formulas, it will be cosine, cosine, sine, sine. Now, if you notice, if I add these two, I'm getting 2 cosine mx nx. Huh? If I add cosine m minus nx plus cosine m plus nx, if I add them, I'm getting about 2 cosine mx cosine nx. So that means cosine mx, cosine nx, it will be this over 2. And this is what I have. Cosine mx, cosine nx, it will be cosine the difference plus cosine the sum over 2. And if we subtract them, you will get what? Sine m minus x, m minus nx minus cosine m plus nx. This minus this cosine gun, I have 2 sine mx sine nx. So if I want this, I need this cosine m minus n minus cosine the sum over 2. And this is what I have. Sine times sine, it will be half cosine the difference minus cosine the sum. And same thing if I use the sine formula now. If you use sine m minus nx and sine m plus nx, you will get this formula. Yeah, which is sine mx cosine nx, it will be sine the difference plus sine the sum over 2. Okay, let us do it. I have sine cosine. When I have sine cosine, I need to use this. So it will be half sine the difference plus sine the sum. This is m and this is n. So that will be half. Now without doing the integration, before I do any integration, just I'm rewriting this expression using these formulas. So I have half sine the difference 5 minus 4x plus sine the sum 5 plus 4x dx. That will be integral of half sine x plus sine 9x dx. That now I can do the integration. That will be minus half cosine x. Yeah. Minus, let me write half. Half, let me make it outside. That will be half. What's the integral of sine? That will be minus cosine. What the integral of sine 9 over x? That will be minus 1 over 9 cosine 9x plus c. That give me minus half cosine x. Is it sine the sum or sine the difference? It will be sine the sum. Yeah. So that should be, yeah, minus 1 over 18 cosine 9x plus c. What is this one? Yeah, good. Cosine, cosine. When it comes to cosine, cosine, I need to use this. So I need cosine the difference plus cosine the sum. That will be the integral of half. This is m and this is n. Cosine 3 plus 7x. Cosine the difference is that there's no difference, it's just a sum, but that's just for formality. That cosine minus 7x plus cosine 3 plus 7x dx. So that will be integral half cosine of minus 4x. Cosine is an even function, that will not make any effect. That will be cosine 4x. You know, cosine minus 4x is the same as cosine 4x, since cosine is an even function. The sign will make a difference. Plus cosine 10x dx. So that will be what? Half, I take it outside. That will be 1 over 4 sine 4x plus 1 over 10 sine 10x plus c. So it will be 1 over 8 sine 4x plus 1 over 20 sine 10x plus c, which is this one. Okay, I'll do more. Yeah, until we reach the old exams. Yeah, this is the old exam. Okay. Yeah, tan x secant square over cosine x. One way to think about it is what? This is cosine x. Is what? This is tan x secant cubed x dx. Yeah. So I can save, yeah, I can do this then. So tan is odd, so I can save the tan and do secant here, times secant square x dx. Yeah, that's it. So I let u, this will be my du. So I let u to be secant x, du will be secant x tan x dx. So I have u squared du, and that will be u cubed over 3 plus c. So I have secant cube x over 3 plus c, which is this one. Square root 1 plus cosine x, I think we did it before. Square root 1 plus cosine x. Yeah, from 0 to 1. I'm getting square root 2 over 2. So no need to do it again. The idea is very simple. Yeah, this is done. Oops, this is done before. And this is the answer. Okay, sine cube, cosine square. I have sine is odd. This is what I need. That will be sine x. Then I have sine square x cosine square x dx. I rewrite the sine, and this is how I take it with the dx. So I have sine square, which is what? 1 minus cosine square x cosine square x. Then I have sine x dx. So I let u to be cosine x. Du will be minus sine x dx. So I need a minus here, and I need a minus outside. So that will be minus integral of what? U square minus u to the power 4 du. If u is cosine, that will be 1 minus u square. Yeah, let me do it in steps. 1 minus u square times u square, and this is du. So it is multiplied the minus, that will be u to the power 4 minus u square du. That gives me u to the power 5 over 5 minus u cubed over 3 plus c. That will be cosine x to the power 5 over 5 minus cosine to the power 3 over 3 plus c. And that is the answer. Cosine to the power 5, this is an odd power. So I can save cosine x, cosine to the power 4 times cosine x dx. I don't change this into sine. So that will be what? Cosine square, all square, cosine x dx. Yeah, if the power is odd for sine and cosine, that will be easy. But if it is even, then it will be a little bit complicated. That give me what? Cosine square, that will be 1. I don't forget any the integral. 1 minus sine square x square cosine x dx. So I let u to be sine x, du will be cosine x dx. So that will be integral 1 minus u square all square du. That will be du. So now I open the square. That will be 1 minus 2u square plus u to the power 4 du. Integrate. That will be u minus 2u cubed over 3 plus u to the power 5 over 5 plus c. And that is what sine x minus 2 over 3 sine cubed x plus 1 over 5 sine to the power 5x plus c. And that will be the answer. Yeah, sine x minus 2 over 3 sine cubed plus 1 over 5 sine to the power 5. Sine squared cosine to the power 4. Yeah, both of them are even power. So that will make it a little bit complicated. Yeah. And then tan to the power 4. Then I think I will stop. This one is a little bit complicated, not this one. Yeah. This one. I need to change. If I have even powers for sine and cosine, I need to change them into this double angle. I know sine square x is half minus half cosine to x. And cosine square x will be half plus half cosine 2x. Okay, so let me do this. That will be what? Sine square plus ready. That will be half minus half cosine 2x. Cosine to the power 4 is what? It will be cosine square x all square dx. And that give me this, half minus half cosine 2x. Cosine square is what? Half plus half cosine 2x all square. So let me open the square first. That will be half minus half cosine 2x. What is this? 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 times 2, which is half cosine 2x plus 1 over 4 cosine square 2x dx. I have cosine square. This one, I need to get rid of it. Or before that, let me do the multiplication. That will be what? Do this times this, it will be, the number, it will be 1 over 8. Now, I have coefficient of cosine 2x, this times this, and this times this. So I have 1 over 4 minus 1 over 8. So cosine 2x, it will be times 1 over 4 minus 1 over 8. What about cosine square? Cosine square comes from here. This times the constant, and cosine 2x times cosine 2x. So I have plus cosine square 2x times which fraction? 1 over 8 minus 1 over 4. Okay, close this dx. Am I ready? No, not yet. That will be 1 over 8. 1 over 4, 2 over 8, so that will be plus 1 over 8 cosine 2x minus 1 over 8 cosine square 2x dx. Not ready. This one, I need to make it double angle. Still, this one, I can make it double angle. So what I have this is not cosine. Wait a minute. I miss a term. Yeah. Plus, yeah, I need the cosine cube. Huh? I did this is correct, but I miss a term, which is plus. What is that? Minus 1 over 8 cosine cubed 2x. This is the x. Yeah, so there is a term here, which is minus 1 over 8 cosine cubed dx. Okay. This is easy. This is I need to change it into double angle. And this is changed it since the cosine is odd, change the cosine times sine, then I can do the calculation with the U idea. Yeah. Okay. So this one I change it to double angle. That will be, yeah, 1 over 8. This one is ready. This one, I will do the double angle idea again. Minus 1 over 8, half plus half cosine double angle of this, which is 4x. Okay. This one is minus 1 over 8. This cosine cube, since cosine is odd, the power is odd, so I can make it cosine times cosine 2x or cosine square 2x times cosine 2x. All this dx. I think I need another page. Yeah. It's lengthy. Yeah, so let me write it. It's integral 1 over 8 plus 1 over 8 cosine 2x minus I can do the calculation. Minus 1 over 16 minus 1 over 16 cosine for x. Yeah. Minus 1 over 8. Let me change cosine square into 1 minus sine square to x. Then it's cosine dx, sine to x dx. By the way, I can take this. I can take it in another integral. That will be integral, because now these are ready. 1 over 8 minus 1 over 16, that will be 1 over 16, plus 1 over 8 cosine to x, minus 1 over 16 cosine for x. This is ready to be taken. Now this is minus 1 over 8 integral of 1 minus sine squared to x cosine to x dx. I let u to be cosine to x du. No, I take u sine to x, sine to x. Du will be minus plus 2 cosine to x dx. So I need 2 here and half outside. Okay, so that will be what? I can open this 1 over 16x. This one is what? Integral of cosine is sine. So plus over 2 plus 1 over 16 sine to x. Okay. This one over 4, 1 over 64 sine for x. And this one is what? Minus 1 over 16 integral of what? If this is u, this is with the 2 is du. So I have 1 minus u squared du. Okay, so now continue. That will be 1 over 16x plus 1 over 16 sine to x minus 1 over 64 sine for x minus 1 over 16 u minus u cubed over 3 plus c. Now we retain sine to x, that this sine to x minus 1 over 64 sine for x minus 1 over 16 sine to x. Notice this is the same as this, so this is cancelled, plus 1 over 48 sine cubed to x plus c. How they wrote it, they took 1 over 16 common factor, so I take 1 over 16 common factor, that will be x, that will be minus 1 over 4 sine for x, and this is plus 1 over 3 sine cubed dx plus c. And that was the answer, x minus 1 over 4 sine for x plus 1 over 3. Yeah, it's a little bit lengthy, not a little bit, but it was a lengthy a little bit. Yeah, lengthy somehow. Okay, let me do this before I go to the old exams. Tan to the power 4, if I have tan is even, if we said if tan is even, no secant factor, and the power of tangent is even, convert a tangent to square to a secant, then expand and repeat if necessary. And I think we did this here, tan to the power 4. Let me do it again, no problem. This is now is definite, which it should be easier. No need to do calculation. Okay, so that I will take it tan square x dx. And I convert this into secant. So that will be integral of tan square secant square minus 1 dx. And that will be tan square x secant square x dx minus integral of tan square dx. This one, since the power is even, that will be secant square is even, that will be u equals secant square, and no, not u equal tan, what is this? U equal tan x, du equals secant square x dx. So that will be what? U square du. This is du, this is u square. This one, I can write it as what? Secant square x minus 1 dx. Now it's ready. So I have u cubed over 3, where u is tan x. What's the integral of secant? That will be tan x minus x. There is a minus, usually be careful. Minus x plus c. I retain the tan, which is tan cube x 1 over 3 minus tan x plus c. And that will be the answer. Yeah, that will be the answer, yes. Yeah, I think now, let me do, since this one is just, yeah, it's a written, that was, I think, 161, where we have a written exam, second exam. So I have secant tan. I have the tan is odd. So I can work out this. So I have this one, I can make it secant to the power 6, and I have secant x here. Tan to the power 2, and they have secant tan here. Now I have the term secant tan, which is will be du. Tan square, I'll change it to secant. Since I start with an odd power of tan, that will be secant square x minus 1 times secant tan x dx. Let u equal secant, du will be what? Secant x tan x dx. So that will be u to the power 6, u square minus 1 du. I have u to the power 8, that u to the power 9 over 9, minus u to the power 7 over 7 plus c. And that equals secant to the power 9x over 9 minus secant to the power 7x over 7 plus c. Yeah, I think I will stop here. I think we did good number of questions. Yeah, nice. So I will stop the recording. Yeah. Thank you.